Well, so hang in here because now we're gonna discuss some really heavy stuff. So across the Atlantic, a lot of things can happen. Now you need to explain something.
Yeah.
So if you're one of those who don't want to see other people get rich and you're being left behind, this Venture Masterclass is for you. If you're seeking investment, or maybe you want to work in venture capital, or maybe just want to be a brilliant investor, this masterclass is, signed up for you.
Perfect.
So in this masterclass, we're going through different examples and real life examples in what you need to know.
Mm-hmm.
We have Kat, our business lawyer, here today. And today we're going to talk about how things can vary in venture capital between the European and the US. So across the Atlantic, a lot of things can happen.
Yeah. And also, what's known as the European model can be used by a US VC fund, of course. And what's known as the US model can be used in Europe.
Yes, just to make it a bit more complex.
Yeah, but this is typically what you see in the US and typically what you see in Europe. That's why they're called the US versus the European model.
Well, so hang in here because now we're going to discuss some really heavy stuff.
Yeah.
Well, bring it on.
Well, this goes back to the GP, the fund manager, and when and if you're entitled to carried interest. Which is, again, we have a separate episode about the waterfall and one about the carry. Carried interest, profit split once the investors, the LP, get their investment and their return on capital and a hurdle rate. Then we have a catch-up and a full carry mode. And there is a difference when you get it, depending on the European versus the US model.
Okay.
And the European model is generally seen as more LP, more investor friendly, because then you will calculate your right to carry on the fund as a whole, on the totality.
Okay.
Whereas the US model, ongoingly, you will calculate deal by deal, which means that a good deal means that you directly have a right to carry, even if I haven't seen full return on capital and full hurdle rate. And therefore, in the US model, and we will have a specific episode about clawbacks we're doing, so it's easy for you to find what you're looking for. But then we will often need to use the clawback in case, in the end, that fantastic initial deal does not cover bad deals that happen afterwards. So the fund result doesn't warrant you getting as much carry as you got in the beginning. So that's why it's good for you, because you get carry more faster, instantaneously upon a good deal. By the European model, you need to wait.
Okay.
So an example?
Yes, an example.
Okay, so back to our example.
Yeah.
The European Waterfall Model. The key features are that there will be full return of capital to the LPs. So money's back plus preferred return, commonly 8%, before any carried interest is paid to you as the GP. So it's a single fund-wide approach. The model will evaluate the entire fund's performance, not the deal by deal, as in the US model that we just talked about. So, example, we have a fund of 100 million US dollars.
Yeah.
And then the LP investment of 90 million US dollars, and the fund return will be 150 million US dollars after 8 years. So in the waterfall, first the LPs receive their 90 million back, then they will receive the preferred return, which is 8% of those, which is approximately 25 million, which is 8% compounded over the fund lifespan, where you have the committed capital deployed. And then we have a remaining 35 million, which will be split in carried interest. You need 20% for you as the GP, which will be 7 million US dollars, and 80% to the LP, which is 28 million US dollars. So the advantage for the LP will be that they are fully repaid, which minimizes the risks. You do not need a clawback, etc. And the challenges for you as a GP is that it takes a long time for you to see any money. And when we look at the US Waterfall Model, that will instead be the deal by deal as we discussed, which is better for you as the GP, the fund manager. So let's again look at a fund size of 100 million US dollars. The LP investment of 90 million. And deal 1 was an investment of 10 million US dollars with an exit of 30 million US dollars. Then we look at the waterfall, and the LP, step number 1 in the waterfall, received 10 million return of investment capital. Then we will calculate the preferred return only on that capital, which in this case means that we're talking about 1 million in preferred return. And the remaining 19 million will be split so that the LPs will be distributed and get 15.2 million, and you as the GP will get the carry of 3.8 million directly upon that deal. And then on subsequent deals, the GP will receive carried interest on that deal by deal basis. So the advantage again is quite clear that in the deal by deal US basis, you get carry quicker. So it's more of a risk for me, the LP, the investor, compared to you. And the European model takes longer for you to get any carry. But then we have the clawback, which is the next episode.
Yes.
Because I will still, if you get too much carry in the US model, I will typically and most likely still want that back, but that comes with complexity. Trying to claw it back.
Yeah, which we're going to describe a bit more in the next episode.
Stay tuned.
Stay tuned. Is there anything else we need
I
to
think
think?
that's it, actually. Well, I can add that these are the general, and 10 years ago, I would say it's the US or the European model. But today, people can be engineering. It can be kind of a hybrid where you utilize some bits and pieces of each model. So be mindful. I mean, if you have a better solution or you can negotiate with the LPs in some way, shape or form, and sometimes you utilize an escrow account so that you get the split quicker, but you still cannot utilize the monies too fast. You also need to take tax accountability in consideration and so forth. That's it.
Really good things to have in your business law toolbox.
In the toolbox.
Keep educating yourself. And how do you do that? Well, you are liking, subscribing, and sharing our channel, and also drop comments if there's anything you want to know.
Yeah.
Just do it. We're here for you and we want to share knowledge. And remember, this is not legal advice, it's knowledge sharing. And this episode is also powered by LA Fitness. Thank you so much for today in this Venture Capital Masterclass. Keep on rocking.
Hej då!
Hej då!